Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This time I'm going to be playing my week 3 matchup against my buddy Spooky here in the Trainers School Draft League, season 10 of that. It's going to be our third week. We're currently sitting at 2-0 and doing pretty good. So want to hop right into it, talk about the matchup, but first I did want to break down, we did make a transaction going into this week. As you can see here, I've got my team pulled up and we are out Scizor. So one of our A tiers, one of our two A tiers that we actually got from A. Really the reason I ended up dropping it and getting rid of him is my buddy Peter. After last match, you can see him over here. He just wanted Scizor. I hadn't brought Scizor to a matchup, and because of the shared weakness between Frostlass and Scizor to fire types, and just my overall like weakness to fire with Rotom Frost, Rose Raid, stuff like that, I didn't see myself using Scizor too horribly often. So I went looking for replacements. Couldn't really find anything in our A tier, so I ended up downgrading another slot. Went ahead and picked up Diggersby here, as you can see. When I was looking for this slot, the one thing I wanted to maintain from Scizor was just having a strong priority move that was Stab. While huge power quick attack isn't the same as like technician boosted bullet punch, just because you don't have that super strong boost on it, you don't have the steel typing, which is nice to like hit the rock type stuff like that. You do have huge power, so it gives you a good boost, gives you the ability to do stuff with quick attack. And I also really wanted a ground type. Ground types this format, if you've been playing Regulation MA, you kind of know they're pretty scarce. You really only see like Garchomp on ladder popping up, maybe some Earth powers on Glamour, but you don't see a whole lot of coverage there. So when digging through, we didn't really have anything available in the A tier. I'll peel back the curtain a little bit and show you kind of the tier list. Really don't have much too available. A lot of the strong A tiers that like interested me in using are megas, and since I'm already double mega locked, I just didn't feel like that was a good decision. So looked a little bit further, found my Diggersby. I'm pretty happy with the addition. While it's not a great matchup for him this week, I really think this Pokemon can like be sneaky super strong here. So getting into it, want to talk about the matchup. You've seen it on the right hand side of the screen over here the whole time. It's going to be the Lacuno, so Lycanroc, and we're taking on the New Orleans Pelipers and Spooky. So it's a rain team, but it's not the worst rain team to face. It's not Archaludon, it's not Basque Legion, it's not those guys that I personally consider pretty cringe. Don't love facing those guys. Instead, you see the Pelipper with Mega Dragonite, you see Quaquaval, Mega Magnetric, which is really cool. It gives you access to the accurate Thunder, which is awesome. See, Mamoswine, really want that Pokemon, and that's who I would have loved to have over Diggersby, to be honest. Then you get Toxicroak, Earthworm, Sharpedo, rounding out the B tiers, and Ariados and Audino as fun little support options down in C. So, when approaching this matchup, like always, started with Frostlass. Honestly, Frostlass didn't look like... I don't like this matchup. I don't like the rain matchup. I don't like playing Weather Wars. That's just not who I am as a player. While I do have a snow team, it's really just because I like using Frostlass more than snow itself. So this is kind of the matchup and what I thought was a good idea. Frostlass, not super great here just because the Mega Magnetric pressures it pretty well. You have to go in and out a whole lot against the Pelipper to maintain control there, stuff like that. So we went with a supportive set today. It's going to be Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, and Icy Wind. Now you'll notice I went ahead and dropped Blizzard on this set. I think this Pelipper is going to be pretty hard to remove, whether that's Focus Sash, whether that's Citrus Berry, and like super bulky. I just find myself having a hard time removing it, especially because I know he's going to have Wide Guard on it. It's going to come to shut down my Blizzard spam, anything I'm trying to do, whether it was Dazzling, Florges, or Earthquake, Diggersby, Rock Slide, Aerodactyl. So wanted to have Ice Beam instead to get around that, hit the Mega Dragonite. I considered dropping Shadow Ball, but I don't have a lot of ways to hit. Stuff like Earthworm can be problematic, and the Pokemon that can resist my ice type attacks, whether that's like Thick Fat Mamoswine, Quaquaval, stuff like that. So ended up dropping it, went with Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Icy Wind, and Protect, like I said. We're speed creeping max speed Dragonite today. Just want to make sure I cover that basis. But then we're also, once again, pretty bulky here with 26 HP stats and then 6 in special defense. That's going to allow us to always live a timid max overheat from Mega Magnetric when the snow is up. So basically, if I lead this, he leads his main metric, I know I'm going to live in overheat. Or if he's modest, good on him to call out where I'm running my speeds and stuff. So we'll see if that comes up. The rest is just dumped in special attack. Want to make sure these ice beams are hitting as hard as they can. Ice beam hitting everything, shadow ball to hit the Orthworm, stuff like that. Moving on, I brought my Tauros this week. This Tauros is going to be running Intimidate with the Wakanberry. So Mega Manetric is like loads better than Mega Dragonite here, in my opinion, just because I am a Blizzard spamming team. So wanted to make sure that I could actually go ahead and eat a move from that in case we lead them at the same time, stuff like that, be able to get something accomplished. So we're running Wave Crash Close Combat, your go-to stabs on it. Really looking forward to taking advantage of the rain and having my Tauros do a lot of damage that way. Close Combat gonna hit the Orthworm, gonna hit the Audino, the Sharpedo, really anything else I needed to. Mamoswine gets hit by everything. And then Wild Charge is tacked on. Really want to make sure I can shut down this Pelipper, take care of the Weather War as soon as I can. And then Aqua Jet over Protect, Detect, anything like that. I just valued having it to pick off like the Sash Pokemon, whether it's going to be Pelipper, whether it's Mamoswine, maybe even Toxic Rogue, Sharpedo, stuff like that. Just pick up that 1 HP Pokemon. So this EV spread, just max adamant speed. Just wanted to make sure I gave myself as good a chance to outspeed Dragonite as possible, especially because if you're creeping like the Quaquaval for Jolly, stuff like that, you basically need to be there anyways. I think you need to be at like 150, so you need to be right in here anyway. So I just went ahead and maxed it out. Might as well not waste the points. 16 in attack, hit the bump at, I believe, 10 and just went from there, but had a little sprinkled in my defenses here. So this is to make sure that I am always living max modest Thunder with the Wakanberry for Mega Manetric, and it also allows me to live Quaquaval Brave Bird. If it's, I believe it's just if it's Jolly, if it's at neutral. I always live if it's intimidated or anything, but if he switches in after the fact, he gets a Brave Bird off, I know that I'm going to be able to live that, hit it back with Wild Charge, hit its partner with something strong. So that is the Tauros set. And then moving on to Rose Raid. Pretty simple this week again with Rose Raid. Just going to be the Focus Sash once again. Went with Poison Point because he's got a few more physical attackers this week than previous weeks when I think I brought like Natural Cure or something else. Going with Energy Ball this weekend, didn't really have anything that you need to like blow up that isn't just gonna fall down to Energy Ball. No fat Milotic basically this week. So Energy Ball, got Sledge Bomb on as my secondary attack. Don't plan on clicking that too horribly much because he doesn't even have really any resist to Grass, but you don't really get much better coverage moves. Considered Leech Seed here for a second just to deal with Orthworm. Or have a way to hit Orthworm, basically. But we have Sleep Powder, Protect, just rounding out the pretty basic Sash set on Rose Raid. Next is going to be Rotom Frost. As always, going to have Blizzard on it. Going to be my Volt Beam coverage here. He could be insanely important in this matchup here against Spooky's team. Having the Thunderbolt, having the Volt Switch. Did tack on Electro Web at the end there. Contemplated stuff like Trick or Will-O-Wisp at the end. I just thought Electro Web's gonna come up at some point. I feel like even if, he's got the Lightning Rod on the main Netric before it Mega Evolves. He's got the Wide Guard on Pelipper. But if he finds himself out of position against me, I want the speed control option. But I do plan to click Volt Switch Thunderbolt a whole lot here. We would just want max 32 Timid. Just want to make sure I catch Quaquaval. I do have an inkling that it's going to be Choice Scarf or White Herb on Quaquaval this week. So wanted to make sure I am outspeeding the Choice Scarf variant if he plans to use it to pressure Aerodactyl or anything like that with like Aqua Step in the rain. 10 HP, so just took a little bit out of my special attack. This gives me a pretty good roll to live Adamant Close Combat when I'm in the snow, just get that defense boost and be able to be a little more survivable. Next, Gudra is making another appearance here. So this Gudra, finally Gooey's pretty decent because he doesn't have exclusively special attackers, but Dragon type just really good into the rain team. It lets me live the main Netric stuff, it lets me live Pelipper stuff, Quaquaval, for the most part if it's using water moves, just lets me be kind of fat in this matchup. So going with a pretty easy moveset of Draco Meteor, Thunderbolt to hit the Pelipper, Quaquaval, and then Scald lets me hit Mamoswine and Orthworm, also gives me the rain boost just with the water. We are Citrus Berry, and you'll notice over here that we're actually bold this week. So this calc in particular, 32 with bold 24, always lets me live 2 close combats from Quaquaval. It'll get the Citrus Berry proc, then I get my Gooey off on him, and I can T-bolt him down, and if he's not White Herb, it should be dropping pretty consistently, even though I don't have that much special attack invested. And Pelipper is always going to need a lot of special defense invested to live Thunderbolts from really anything, even though Gudra's not the strongest. So just put 2 in speed, that way if it's max Adamant Dragonite and I get a Gooey speed drop or the Icy Wind or the Electro Web, whatever it might be, I'm always faster than that. Say he tries to E-speed to pick something off, my thought process was I can switch into Gudra, I can get the drop from Gooey, then I can Draco it back for huge damage. So pretty simple set with Mr. Gudra there. And then rounding out the team is Aerodactyl. Now, Aerodactyl didn't look great initially. I didn't think I was going to want to bring him at all this week, and it still doesn't look great. But there's a world where if I get into his head over a game 1 where like I just kind of clear the Pokemon that Aerodactyl doesn't want to deal with stuff like that it could be potentially a lot stronger. Super basic moveset. We've got Dual Wing Beat that's going to help us hit the Quaquaval. And then we've also got Rock Slide as always. Considered Stone Edge to get around Wide Guard, but I just don't like Stone Edge. It just always misses. It's just unfortunate. And then Tailwind Protect to round it out. The EV spread, nothing too crazy here. Went ahead with 26 Jolly. This allows me to be faster than Timid Pelipper with a Choice Scarf, which hits 192 at the end. Just wanted to make sure I'm always faster than that, so it can't just Weather Ball me or Muddy Water or whatever it wants to do to blow up my Aerodactyl before I can at least get a Tailwind off, help out the rest of my team. 32 in my attack just because I had it available, and there's not really much I wanted to calc for defensively. 8 gave me a pretty good chance at living something. I want to say it was 2. I want to say it was Icicle Crash after Intimidate from Toro. So we'll see what the Mamoswine ends up running. Thick Fat's really good here. Oblivious is good here to get around my Intimidate. And then honestly, Snowveil is pretty scary here. So we're going to see what Spooky does, but I want to say I'm pretty prepared. I'm a little worried about like some of his lower tier Pokemon like Dragonite. I'm not super worried about. Quaquaval, I'm not super worried about. Pelipper, I'm not. The Manetric scares me a lot. The Toxicroak and Orthworm are also Pokemon that I have like a hard time hitting and dealing super effective damage to, or even effective damage to, so I worry a little bit about those. Ariados just for the redirection, because I did end up dropping Blizzard on Frostlass, a little worried about that, but I have Rock Slide still, stuff like that, so I'm not too horribly worried. Then Audino, I don't know what that is gonna do. Who knows what it can do. So yeah, that's gonna be the team for my week 3 matchup against Spooky, and we'll hop on over to the game. Alright, and here we have the preview for game number 1 against Spooky. So, things of note here, don't see the Toxicroak, which I was a little worried about being able to do damage to. See the Sharpedo and Orthworm, which I am a little afraid of it getting behind a Shed-Tail, so we'll see how that goes and how everything plays there. I thought a little bit about how I want to play this game 1. I think Rotom up front makes a ton of sense. It just pressures a ton. It pressures him to bring Manetric in quickly. And I think I can pair it pretty well with Frostlass. If he leads Pelipper, I have the option to kind of reset. I have the option to just Volt Switch out and protect on turn 1, bait out the Pelipper switch to reset my weather. So happy to go with those two. And then for the last, I'm thinking Gudra / Tauros. I want to have options into the Sharpedo late game. That's not Gudra, that's Aerodactyl. I want to have options into Sharpedo late game, And I think also just having Gudra as a Pokemon that can switch in and out is pretty helpful. So gonna see how this goes. So I see that he is ready, and hopefully I am as well. Right, let's see what the leads are. Okay, Ariados and Sharpedo. So this is definitely a little worrisome off rip. He has the ability to protect and just Rage Powder off the bat, which I think he kind of wants to be doing, like protect, Sword Sand, setting up with this Pokemon. The problem is the main trick coming in here, because like I have Electro Web pressure, I have Thunderbolt Volt Switch pressure, make him do something to me. Frostlass isn't in like the best position. What I'm thinking here is Sharpedo's like not doing a lot offensively. I'm gonna do this and hope that he doesn't go Manectric. I don't want to give it the boost right away, and I think I just did. Yeah, I did. So that's unfortunate. Hoping to avoid it getting set up, and I instead give Manectric kind of a huge boost here, and I don't have anything that's outspeeding this Manectric. And with the Conberry, I do have to worry about that. So, Choice Scarf too, so we're going to be forced to switch out and give a bunch here. Night Slash is an interesting reveal. So this just keeps +1. It's not like something like Flash Fire that you're going to lose. The thing is, do I think he wants to Mega and do something off of that? Or not? That is kind of the thing I have to think about here, because I've given up a lot already to this Pokemon. Guja's a safe switch in. I just don't want it to get like too Snowball at least, so I think I need to give this up and try and get some damage on this Manectric. Rage Powder's super safe out of Ariados. If he Mega Evolves, he gets Intimidate off, so that's not entirely great. I kind of got hosed on that turn 1, super unfortunately. He does go for the Mega, and my Waconberry is not Calc survive, like Thunderbolts at +1, stuff like that, so we're gonna see what exactly happens. Rage Powder out of the Ariados, yeah, that makes sense. What does he want to target down? He targets down the Gudra, so that's kind of nice, actually. Means Tauros lives to see another day. The burn's unfortunate. It's not going to matter, like, too horribly much, but the chip damage will surely be kind of annoying. That's not even a 2-hit KO. That's kind of tough. Okay. I'm kind of down to just Draco and get Ariados off the field. Problem is I don't have Protect on Tauros, and I don't have like a great switch in. Like Rotom gets to come in now. I get to click Volt Switch. I get to click Electro Web. So I guess that's what I need to do, is remove Ariados and then start lowering this thing's speed so I can start doing some more damage. Him giving up the Lightning Rod it is like important. He needs the extra speed and damage on Manectric, but it is also pretty annoying. What do I catch on the switch? Pelipper? So getting a Draco into this, T-Volt into Rotom, does about 50%, not super ideal. We land the Draco. Hopefully this does a ton. Hopefully I get to see if it's Sash or not. Don't get to see if it's Sash or not. Okay, so it's not. So it's Citrus Berry, Pelipper. So like I want to Volt Switch, because I want to get around Wide Guard. But at the same time, if I do that, I'm not like accomplishing anything on the turn. I kind of think he wants to protect the Pelipper, keep the Pelipper alive. Like, Rotom's not going down here, I don't think. Yeah, okay, so he doesn't go for it. I get the -1 on the Manectric, which is really big. I had a feeling that he wanted to get Tailwind or something set up there too. Like, it just covers for more. to go for the Electro Whip. It forces him into kind of a hole. So we've won the Weather War. We get hit by Overheat, so this is going to drop him down to -2. So Rotom does a really good job here. Clears a lot of what I needed it to clear. Unfortunately, Sharpedo's still up that I have to deal with. I missed the Draco as well. That's really unfortunate. But we get to a point where this Magnetric isn't as scary anymore. At this point, we can go into Tauros because of the Sharpedo. So if he went into Ariados, that could have been definitely a little bit worse because I wouldn't have redirection for the next turn. But I get the Intim on both of them. I'm going to be faster with Goodra. Or not with Goodra, with Tauros. And since I'm not intimidated already, Wave Crash into this slot is pretty free. He either gives me the Ariados and resets his Magnetric stats, which is probably what he wants to do. Sharpedo, like, unless he's straight up calling my Frostlass coming in, which he definitely could. Definitely could just be looking for good damage on Goodra here. Not super worried about it. Not quite yet, at least. So here comes the Ariados back onto the field. We're going to pick up that KO, so no more redirection for the rest of the match, but he does get to reset his stats. And he just goes for the Protect. Cool, so I don't lose anything on this turn. Also of pretty important note is because of the rain, Overheat's not going to be quite as effective as it would be otherwise. I do worry that that puts us in Thunderbolt range, even with the Wakan Berry. Magnetric comes back out. So Magnetric always loses late game to Goodra here. I wonder if there's a world I just go Icy Wind and just go for the close combat on Sharpedo. Because I don't want to take the rain away and have the Overheat hit for max damage. If it's halved, he hasn't shown me Snarl. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this play. He definitely wants to target down the Frostlass. He has Psychic Fangs. Okay, that's definitely not ideal. And he's just going to double target into Tauros here. That's actually kind of annoying, but I think that's okay. I do reveal the Wakan Berry. That's super annoying to have to give that information up. But we'll get the speed drop. And the Magnetric dodges. Okay. Okay, so that miscomplicates things. Definitely complicates things. Huh. Like, do I Mega Evolve here? I'm getting hit with Overheat anyways. And probably just getting doubled. I think I don't Mega Evolve and go for the Draco and try and clear Magnetric. Okay, so the Protect from Sharpedo could be huge for me. Nope, just a double Protect, stall out the rain. And I do apologize if you guys hear a lot of dead space in this video. I have been kind of down with the cold lately, and my cough is actually killing me right now, so that's unfortunate. Huh, that Icy Wind miss is really unfortunate. I think just overall. I think we're down to protect our Frostlass here and just fish for Draco. Which I don't even think kills this Magnetric, that's the really messed up part. But I think I kind of have to hope this Magnetric goes down, because if he connects to this Overheat or Flamethrower, like, I'm just never getting any value out of Frostlass here. I am calced to live Overheat, However, the double up is what I have to worry about, yeah. Okay, so he does double into that slot. I get myself kind of a free turn. If I can get this into a late game of Gudra versus the Sharpedo, I could be in good shape. But having to give up the -2 is kind of unfortunate. Alright, so I think here I don't want to lower my special attack anymore, so I'm just going to go ahead and Scald down the Magnetric. He's going to have to double to KO, so that's pretty big. Or I can scout to see if this Magnetric is modest. Oh no, I can't, because the Sharpedo is going to be faster because it's speed boost. If he misses this overheat, it could also be big, but of course, why would he? Okay, so Gudra has to live 2 crunches here, and Thunderbolt has to be a 2-hit KO at -2. And I'm frankly not sure Gudra's that guy, but we're gonna find out. That's gonna reveal the Citrus Berry. So he can also weave and protects to kind of play quote-unquote optimally. I think Thunderbolt plus Draco is the correct play, pending how much this Thunderbolt does. Yeah, he's just going to let the burn kind of whittle down as much HP as he can. Because he knows that it comes down to if 2 crunches are going to take a KO on Gudra. I am super bulky, and Sharpedo's not like the strongest Pokemon. But it's really going to depend how he's trained here. Depending how much Thunderbolt does as well, it might be a time to go for the Draco. 132 down to 89. This might be close. Gudra might clutch this up. I do also potentially... No, I don't have to hit a Draco Meteor. So I can just go for another T-Bolt and get pick up this KO here, so... Hopefully... Because it was, what, 132 down to 89, so that's about 50. Even with the burn... He'd need like a double protect, I'm pretty sure. I can just T-Bolt down twice and unless I get really unfortunate in it here again with another miss. Man, that icy wind miss, that was really unfortunate. If I get that, I'm probably in a really good commanding shape. Gudra doesn't have to take some of the punishment, it does, and the Sharpedo didn't need to get rolling with all these speed boosts and whatnot, but I think we are going to come away with game 1 win. Yes, Fat Gudra's going to do it. We're going to get the game 1 win with this Thunderbolt connecting here. So awesome job out of the Gudra. Set's coming up clutch here. The bold is actually really important in this game, so that's good to see. The prep kind of paying off, the Citrus Berry and whatnot. So really happy with how game 1 went. Even though I got a little bit unlucky, but well played to Spooky, and we're just going to hop straight over to game 2, I think. Alright, so game number 2, thinking what kind of leads could really get me into trouble here. Honestly, leads, I got the game 1, like, wrong in terms of what I did, but I think lead overall was really good. I think we're going to bring the same form ons. Roserade doesn't like provide too horribly much into what he brought, especially since he has the overheat, he has the flamethrower on Magnetric. However, a lot of his team is slow, so that's something to notice. Aerodactyl not going to come here just because he's got the Sharpedo, he's got redirection, stuff like that, so I don't think it's super important. So we're going to go ahead and just run it back, see if we can hopefully get a better turn 1 start here, but yeah. GG's game number 1. That was a close one. I'm really glad to have come away with that. So yeah, it's been like a week since I've been sick, and haven't really felt all that great. So kind of glad to be feeling a little decent enough to like talk through this, but at the same time, my voice has just been killing me. So we see Magnetric on the lead again with the Orthworm. Now the Orthworm is something I'm a little worried about. Shed Tail could be potentially really bad with the Sharpedo, something I found in my testing. But since I know I'm going to live a overheat because I calced for it, I think getting this Manectric super far out of position for turn 2 is worth giving up the Shed Tail, letting him get speed drops, and I'm sure with how poor defenses are on Sharpedo, that breaking through this Shed Tail sub isn't going to be like too horrible to do. So I think I'm okay with this play. Let the Orthworm kind of do what it wants to do. I guess what I have to worry about is like Manectric going for overheat into Rotom. Like, I don't love the idea of giving all that up. But let's see here. He does go for the turn 1 Mega, so that's super nice to get that out of the way. Don't have to play any Lightning Rod games later on. And that's another nice thing that this lead does, is it forced that pretty quickly. Especially seeing it on lead. So we're going to get the Blizzard off. That's going to do a lot to Manectric here. Hopefully it's going for the... Oh, okay. Well, this is why Blizzard's kind of sick. Because sometimes you just don't deserve to win, and you just sort of win. Manectric gets no value. I think that's a crit on the Manectric too, with the Icy Wind, or do we just do that much? Nope. And he goes for Iron Defense here. So Orthworm's setting up, but like Body Press doesn't do anything to Frostlass, and now I've kind of gotten rid of the biggest check to my Frostlass in this matchup. Like no Snarl, anything like that. So Blizzard and Shadow Ball here looking pretty good. He can try and come on in with Pelipper, I guess, for the Earthworm, but then he's giving up his stats. So yeah, he tried to go for the Protect there. You see it coming out before the Rotom, so indicator there. And this Earthworm also not being Citrus Berry, I know, because we saw the Leftovers proc last turn, so this is going to put him into really good range here. Free for a pickup next time around. At +2 in the snow, yeah, Rotom doesn't even go down. So we are looking in much better shape. Like, this game, too, is going fantastically. We were fine with the trade anyways, unless he was overheating into the Rotom, but Quaquaval comes out here. We haven't seen this Mon's item yet, and I don't really want to give it a Moxie boost, is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I can just go for the Shadow Ball. Like, let's just take out this Orthworm or force it to Protect. Frostlass is never going down here. And I think the way we lose this is by letting this Quaquaval get going here. So we're just going to put it out of position with Tauros. Either get a White Herb or get something of value out of him. So let's see what item we have. No White Herb. Okay. So we're going to see what what Quaquaval's trying to do here. Just goes for the Wave Crash. That's going to be into my Tauros. That's not going to do anything. Alright. So now is the point of the game where we start thinking, how can we lose this? And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure we can. We can just Wild Charge into this slot, and we can Shadow Ball this Orthworm, and I think this is free. I don't think there's anything he can do about that. Orthworm's gonna go out. This could be Pelipper coming in. I guess he could get Wave Crash onto my Frostlass now that the defense is gone. It is Scarf. Okay, so it is Scarf Quaquaval, which we kind of had suspicions about that earlier on. Okay, that does really good damage into Pelipper. Now that I know that it's Sashin on the field, or Scarf on the field, if this doesn't KO, which it might not. No, it does, of course, with the Wave Crash damage down. So, yeah, I think that's just going to be a clean 4-0 in game 2, because at this point Rotom can come in and T-Volt twice and game's over. But I think Shadow Ball Close Combat's just going to do it here. Or we'll just Wild Charge into the Pelipper, just make sure it wasn't some weird roll, anything like that, and pick up the kill otherwise. But really, we're never losing this, so really good game 2. Much better than game 1. That turn 1 game 1 kind of lost me a lot, but he made some good plays. He was switching where I wasn't thinking he was going to switch as well, so I kind of put myself on the back foot there. Took a bit of a poor game there, but we're going to pick up the 2-0 and keep on moving on into season 10 here, so that's really good. We're at a 3-0, still have yet to drop a game. Everything in our calcs came up, so that's really cool to see, and happy to keep on moving, but GG's to Suki, and we'll just kind of break down the end, see where everything's at. Thanks. Yeah, so that was our week 3 matchup. Ending up at 3-0. Got the standings pulled up just to kind of show where everything's at. Not fully updated yet, so you'll see me here. Wumbles move up to the first spot back because I am still undefeated. And unlike Chris, who stinks, I have not lost a game. So I'm still sitting at 100% win, and my differential is going to be a little bit bigger. I think we're pulling off like a +5 there, so 3 weeks in to be still undefeated, haven't dropped a game yet, to also be looking at like a +19 differential, which means only 5 of my Pokemon have gone down this season. So we're really vibing well. We're doing well with the team. So happy to keep it up in week 3 and hopefully looking on to week 4. Just a small little preview for it. So I pulled up our schedule for week 4. You see me at the bottom. I'm going to be facing Beer. He's one of the admins in the league. Going to be looking forward to facing him. I'm not sure if we've faced off before, but I know he's constantly in playoff contention and doing pretty well in the league. So we'll be taking on this team that features Sneasel, Sinisha for Alligator. Team that's actually really cool to me. Ironically and funnily, we're going to be facing down a Manectric again next week, so that kind of stinks, and a Pidgeot 2 weeks after we defeated both of those mega Pokemon. So look forward to getting into that next game. It'll be a fun matchup for sure. Really looking forward to seeing Pokemon like Feraligatr, Sinisha. They'll be fun to see in action. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully until next week. Also just want to apologize. I did watch back some of the videos. And I heard kind of the absence of my voice. Once again, I just want to apologize. I have been dealing with the cold, so every time you heard like a 10-second silence, it was because I was coughing and I was muted and dying a little bit. So appreciate y'all tuning in and dealing with everything, the weird voice and all that. So I will see you hopefully next week, hopefully a little sooner, and everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. Thanks so much.